the Sellout Crowd podcast. I am
Yeah.
Jason Ross, co-host and co-director of Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment, right here alongside my co-host, Mr. Paul Scott.
And yes, and I'm coming to you live from Nashville with Next Move Music today. I am sporting the Tennessee orange today because we're keeping it in state with our special guest coming up. But before we get to that, man, things are heating up everywhere. It's an exciting show. We've got, all kinds of stuff happening. The basketball playoffs are in. NFL has been, drafting like crazy, and all the fun stuff and trades and all of that. Tons going on in sports. Entertainment's going crazy. I was even talking with one of our previous guests how Nashville is starting to invade their state and what they can expect for the touring season that is taking off, and all of our places around town, all the rehearsal spaces are just full and buzzing, full of everyone getting their tours ready to go on out for the summer. Lots of energy around that, and it's like it's infected the real estate market because people are coming out of the woodworks with buying and listing and all of that sort of stuff. Are you seeing the same thing down there in Florida?
I am. And I wanted to ask you, Paul, because, both of us have our music backgrounds. We're here in my studio. You've been a lifelong musician, toured around the world. A question for you. Nashville, obviously one of my favorite places, had family that lived there, loved going there, grew up in Ohio and Cincinnati, used to come down there. We just wrapped up the Grammys I think it was like a week ago. Tell me what's it like in Nashville during the Grammys? Like, well, how's it go down there? Is it any different?
Yeah, I mean, Grammys not so much. We usually get ousted on that, and and they usually put country in like the earlier segment of the show before it's broadcast nationwide. I guess we don't sell as many records or something in country. But this year with Beyonce, taking home the hardware for the country album of the year and that sort of stuff, that was actually really interesting to see the contrast of what people thought about that on either side. Yeah. I honestly was a fan of it. I'm like, hey, if you can make it in any category, any genre, let's go for it. Let's just be inclusive on just continually bringing great music to the genre.
We also had the Oscars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Oscars too. That's right. Well, we have some actors here. Tim McGraw tries to act every once in a while in a movie here and there, but
it's a crazy time of year. Like it's a
crazy time of year. CMA Fest is our big thing, and that's in June, and that's when people will come and stay for a week. We shut down about 4 or 5 streets, and it's only walking distance into town. Whole lot of fun. Great for our short-term rental situation. We kind of have a big spread. Yeah. From like, it starts to become wedding season in like April-ish. And then that carries you through June. And then it's wedding season again on the back half and people coming on vacation. So we have really become, Nash Vegas has become a big old touring town for all the stuff.
Nashville. Well, here's another thing too. Both of those events, the Grammys and the Oscars, with a little bit in our rear view. We're now, just slightly into March, and that brings up March Madness. No, give me a good one. March.
Do we have a spotlighted guest today?
We have one, and reason I bring up March Madness is because we have somebody who knows a lot about college basketball, playing
Michael
college
Jordan.
Basketball. Michelle Jordan.
Hold on.
Jordan.
Right. Okay. All right. That'll work.
Of college basketball, coaching, playing. This is, I'm going to say it. This is my boo thing. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I love me some our guest, and I'd love to bring her on right now. Can you bring her on?
She's coming on.
And this is Miss Brittney Ezell coming to join us.
I got to break. Hey, there we go. We're working switchers around here. It took a second.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate the intro, fellas. That just did my heart good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, we are getting knee deeper into our podcasts, and we've been running a few episodes. And when I knew you were going to come on, I mean, obviously, Brittney has been a vital part of the growth of Keller Williams Sports Entertainment. just like I gotta just for a couple of the guests that we've had, I had to share a little love, and I'm gonna tell just a real quick story about Brittney that was really really like huge for me, right? So Miss Cynthia Lee, who is the president of Keller Williams Commercial, and another just absolute boo thing. Love that lady so much. Jordan, she's the greatest, right? So Jordan Stewart, who's my partner in Keller Williams Sports Entertainment, he and I went to a commercial retreat there last year. And I said, we're going to be talking about private housing network, which Brittney will touch on. And I'd love for you to come. Brittney, would you come up and hang out with us? And, and then they sort of volunteered Brittney to be the keynote speaker of the actual event that we weren't really sure. And, as somebody who's in a business of referring people, it's like, ooh, I didn't know that was going to happen. I'm sorry. And the point, though, is that was the first time I've known Brittney for a while. And the first time I saw her actually speak on stage, and I was like, this lady, wow, just always amazing. And she just spoke in Family Reunion on a panel that I put together about security with FBI agent Brett Fajoli and NBC's Chris Hansen, and talking about her journey through dealing with security and privacy for herself and players as she come along. So Brittney, we have blown you up, and you deserve it because you're the best. But why don't you take a quick second here and you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Real quick before she does that, you want to know why you were so impressed at all of her speaking and all of the things that that you're saying? That's because she's actually a professional keynote speaker. You realize this.
Yeah.
So for anyone that wants to follow along while she's talking and read the notes, Dr., which we need to add on there, Brittney Ezell.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She hates that.
BrittneyEzell.com, BrittneyEzell.com. Make sure you spell it right.
That's all she cares. Spell it right.
I looked up Dr. Brittney, and I didn't know Britney Spears had gotten a doctorate in a few things, and I had the wrong person come up. So make sure you get it right. Again, that's Brittney with an EY, EZELL.com.
Appreciate it.
Also, I have that right out in that photo that can you go back to that real quick? I just want to point out in that photo, she's actually looking at me over here going,
that's probably
that's right. That's what the smiling is all about.
Story of my life, guys. Story of my life.
So Dr. Brittney. There it is. Dr. Brittney. There
you can book Dr. Brittney, by the way.
Yeah, you can.
You can book. It's you can book, but the price is the price. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Discounts only for my boys. So
are we going to give a discount for anyone that sees this episode today?
I will definitely
consider it.
I would definitely
do that.
Take it
into consideration.
I would do that. I would definitely do that. So
we'll have a code at the end for this.
I get a lot of people say, "What's the discount code?" I'm like, What are you talking about, man? The price is the price. Like, it is what it is.
It's not
like,
Amazon.
Sorry about that, homie. But I'm flattered, guys. Thank you for having me on, being so kind, and I just I enjoy showing up to serve. And so that's been kind of my mantra. I was a basketball player, basketball coach. And if you know anything about me in person, I'm only about 5'5". So I had to be a point guard. So I still continue to spend my life chasing assists. That's what I do. So
that also probably brought about a fighter mentality in you, and being scrappy and having to figure out ways to adjust within yourself and your own game to take on people who may have, been seemingly intimidating to others, right?
Yeah. And I'm, I kind of like being the silent assassin at times, which is fine. But it's, I like it when other people do well. That's when I'm the happiest. So it fit for me to be a point guard and to make other people look really, really good. And because they looked really, really good, it made me better than I probably was. So that's my
increased your shooting percentage because you were passing it to people running the plays, right?
And
that's right.
They usually left me alone so I could shoot uncontested all
there
day.
You go.
Not a problem.
Give us one game. I know we're sort of going behind the scenes here a little bit, but or maybe she's going to take us. It's a little early for that, but maybe it was time for the backstage pass. I want to know, what was it like? Give us your favorite moment as a player.
Okay.
And then I want something that's a little odd. I want your least favorite, or maybe scariest, or whatever moment as a coach, because a lot of people think of the coaches, being in these positions. Oh, it's college sports, it's whatever. But I think like that's a tough place to be. So give us a dream highlight as a player, and a tough moment as a coach, if you don't
Oh
mind.
my gosh, there are so many highlights. That's going to be tough. Most of the highlights that I'm going to say, you guys are going to get mad at me, because it's going to be when Dominique Canty was, freshman of the year, and I was a sophomore, and that was fun. We were the #1 team in the country when I was a sophomore.
And just for people who don't know, what team was that?
So I played basketball and softball at the University of Alabama Roll Tide.
I wore the wrong jersey
And
today.
that's totally fine. Totally fine. Totally fine. Some of my
Even had the T on the hat.
dearest
Paul's
friends.
making a lot of rivals today. Let me tell you.
Some of my best friends in the world went to the University of Tennessee, and I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter where you went, just go. And if you're going to be loyal to one, and that's works for me.
Yep.
So, and I'm a Peyton fan myself, so it's
all right.
I'll let that ride.
We'll get to the Tennessee part, because that's actually where you live and do your business now anyway. So you
That's
saw the light eventually. It's okay.
Tell
Us about you rolling Tide as a player again.
Rolling Tide as a player. So played in 4 straight Sweet 16s at the University of Alabama. So played in March Madness, played in some SEC championship games, played with some pretty remarkable players that I tell them they still owe me money since they had pro contracts. If not for me, they didn't make it. But was trying to think highlight. I think my individual highlight that I would remember is I hit 8 threes at Arkansas. Set a school record there, but I'm still in the University of Alabama record books 17 different times in record books.
Okay.
And part of the winningest class to ever come through the University of Alabama, and played for the winningest coach, men's or women's, at the University of Alabama. And I'm very proud of that.
Wow. I
played on the first SEC championship softball team at Alabama. So,
right.
I mean, I don't know if that's a
sports person. I love
shortstop and third, and played point guard, and had a ball, got a degree in business, got a master's in admin, and decided that's not enough. Let's get a terminal degree and be a doctor. Why not?
Let's just do all that. Doctor. And what is your doctorate in?
I seen her deliver a baby. I mean, she's out there.
It was one of those things. No,
not that kind of doctor though, are you?
No, thank God. Please don't get sick. Like, philosophically, I can talk you out of it, but
okay, there we go.
Yeah, my doctorate is in global sport leadership, and I did 2 studies abroad, best practices in sports, everything from marketing to ticketing to hiring and firing, recruiting, drafting, a little bit of everything.
Now, was that before or after the coaching?
That was during the coaching.
You got a doctorate while you were coaching a team?
I did. So I got my doctorate at East Tennessee State University. Took 3 years. So when kids were in study hall, so was I, and doing homework. And I guess I always thought that if I wanted somebody to be it, then I needed to let them see it. So go ahead and get a terminal degree, take it as far as I could. And then I started teaching in the College of Business and Technology. I taught leadership and branding, personal branding, which I know Jason knows a ton about. And I take notes every time you guys put something out, especially like your headers and stuff. Like, I pay attention. Like, I like learning from other people. I'm just a big giant nerd, so I'm good with that. I'm good with
it. What are your top 3? Your top 3 principles, your top 3 go-tos for being in leadership, right? Because I know what my mindset is on leadership.
Yeah.
Like, what is it when? Because like for example, when I think about stuff, right? Like, to give you an example, I always think about, as a leader, right? Like, if you realize that if you ever think you've learned everything, then you're never a leader, because a leader never stops learning, right? What are 3 things similar to that, like that from your perspective, that you would tell people, you want to be a good leader, you need to be thinking this way?
I think number 1, if you want to be a good leader, it cannot be about you. It's not about being in charge. It's about taking care of the people that are in your charge. Yep. That's it. I guess if you truly want to lead people, you walk behind them. because we're free to do more things when we know that we're supported. And so when you walk behind people, they'll try, they'll fail forward, and you're there to pick them up. So I always think about that. Number two, you better have a ton of gratitude in everything that you do, because my belief is that gratitude kills fear. All right. If I can't be full of gratitude and fearful at the same time, it just doesn't work. That's like, you can't believe in something and be afraid of it at the same time. It just doesn't work. And then I think the third thing is everybody needs a team. Everybody needs a team. And you have a lot of people that are serial entrepreneurs, present company included, but everybody needs a team, whether it's, front of the house, back of the house, or just somebody to kick you in the tail when you need it. We need truth tellers and a team around us that are going to be there, good, bad, or ugly. So those are my.
Tell me about we have all kinds of listeners on here. KWSE, we have agents that aren't KW. They're EXP, they're real. They're all kinds of different people that are different brokerages, and some are on teams. But then there's a lot of solo agents, looking to. In their own career, they may not have a KWSE platform, but they want to work with athletes and entertainers and that sort of thing. And you're talking about, it's important to have a team. How does a solo person have that support system as an entrepreneur in what they're doing in real estate, and then leverage that into working with athletes and entertainers?
I think your why has to be grounded in being transformative and not transactional. If you want to work with entertainers and athletes because it's lucrative and, there's, recognition in that, or there's money in that, you've already missed the whole point of having the platform in real estate. The job is to be transformative in everything that we do in life, bottom line. And using real estate, which is one of the biggest purchases of somebody's life and probably causes more anxiety than a lot of things, focus on transformative power of what we do in building your relationship in a sustainable way, not a transactional way. And I think that would be my best advice. If you don't have a network like KWSE, make friends with somebody that's in KWSE. I assure you that at high levels, people collaborate. I'm not concerned what brokerage you're with. I'm concerned where your heart's at when it comes to why you do what you do. Best advice I can give you.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. I would think that many athletes, I think, and entertainers too, they've got people around them, and they need a team too, right? And they're often into that team mentality. They may be singularly focused and want to be the superstar, and that's great. But even they would admit that it takes other people around them, maybe not doing the same thing that they're doing. So even if you're a solo agent out there, for instance, it doesn't mean that you have to go add a team if you're not, into doing that sort of thing. But you still need certain strengths around you to support what you're doing. And so tell us, maybe just for fun, what, when you were coaching, how did you get to their whys? How did you get to the players' whys? And what difference did that make? Maybe you had a player that didn't understand that or get that, or maybe was a little selfish or whatever, and you explained that to them to where it made a difference, not only for them, but for everyone around them.
Yeah, I don't think any of us can say when we were 18 to 22 years old that we weren't a little bit selfish, self-involved, or, self-important. And so getting a group of 18 to 22-year-old girls to sacrifice for a greater good is always hard. But it also always started with the relationship and how I introduced myself to the family dynamic and what we were hoping to accomplish, because my belief was that kids were learning how to live by being taught how to play. Nobody cares how many games I've won in my career, how many games I've lost, but did I play? Did I forge lifelong relationships? Do I have memories that can, sustain me the rest of my life? Absolutely. And I learned a lot about who I am, what kind of human I am, what kind of business person I am. But most importantly, I learned more about what kind of legacy I want to leave in people rather than just something I leave for them. So those were the discussions that mattered. And I used to tell parents all the time, look, I promise you a couple things if I'm going to recruit your kid. Number one, they're going to be better educated because I'm going to ensure they get their degree. Number two, they're going to be a better athlete simply because I'm going to surround them with people that are like-minded and driven to do the same things athletically. But most importantly, number three, they're going to be better equipped to handle life outside of your home once this is done. And they're going to be better human beings for having experienced our program. And
to throw a flag on the play.
Throwing
I thought my
flags.
kid was coming to college to just have you coach them to be the best basketball player that anyone has ever seen. You're going to go ahead and teach me life skills, business skills,
dare you, Coach?
relationship skills.
How
How
dare you?
dare you add all of these other things on, and they benefit more than just on the scoreboard by working with you.
Yeah.
How did parents respond to you when you started doing that for their children?
Man, I think there was a mixed bag at times, and that usually would throw up red flags for me. So you want to talk about throwing flags on the play? There were several times I'd be sitting in living rooms going, "Good God, like, do not come to my school. Like, please don't." I had one parent call me. This was way prior to NIL, and give me a whole list of demands that her daughter had, and they were financial and large. And she said, "Well, my baby has needs," and I said, "Well, her first need is she needs to find somewhere else to play." So there's certain things.
Honesty was one of those flags too. Okay.
Yeah, you just got to draw a line sometimes. And I guess as a coach, if your entire premise is just winning and losing games, I think you've already lost. That's it. Because kids see through that. There's a transparent realism when you're a coach. If they think you're using them, they're just going to use you right back. I wanted to invest in them so they would invest back, and not just in me, but invest in the program, invest in the school, invest in the community. Because a lot of hands went into getting them to the position they were in to be successful.
Well, when you say, in this day and age, the term influencer is a very popular term, right? And the thing is that when you're a coach, you're influencing these students, these younger folks, right? You're influencing them to be better at something that they are passionate about, which is whatever sport that is, basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, right? And so if you're going in there with the mindset of influencing them specifically just in that manner, it's kind of like you're leaving a lot on the table, right? Because these folks they've got this trust in you. They've got to listen to you. If they want to look good and win, they got to believe in the coach. And if they believe in you, then they can believe in you. And the rest of the things, if you aren't leading them and guiding them in great ways from that perspective, then you're leaving a lot on the table for them. So, give us maybe one of your top stories as a coach, because I think we talked about, some of your basketball and your days and some of the things you were doing when you transitioned over to the coach and you were doing that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, like, what made you go from I've played and now I want to continue from there and do this? Like, what made you want to transition to that?
I didn't want to, Jason. Yeah. How about that? I really didn't. It was kind of like I had this big plan for my life, and then God kind of laughed, I guess. I wanted to be an attorney. I did. I wanted to be an attorney, and coaching kind of found me.
Now, were you going to be on the prosecution side or on the defense? I got to know.
I probably could have gone either way. I like the black and white of the law. I really like that. But I also like that there are so many things that can be interpreted in different ways.
Right.
So I appreciate that. And
that made you a good coach when you were arguing with the zebras, right?
Oh, I could come up with some nonsense to say to a referee. I asked one referee, I said, "Can I get a technical for what I think?" He goes, "Well, no." I said, "Well, I think you are absolutely," and you can fill in the blank. So there were certain things that did happen, but
I love it.
Coaching kind of found me. I started coaching AAU and summer ball when I was in college, and had a lot of success, and kind of saw that I was able to relate to the athlete on their level, been there, done that, learned the hard lessons so you don't have to. And it really just kind of found me. And then when it was able to pay for my graduate school to go to the University of Nebraska and work for a Hall of Fame coach in Paul Sandiford, and work with Jeff Walls and Michelle Clark-Hurd and Steve Curtis and learn. And it just really opened up a lot of educational opportunities for me. And like I said earlier, I just like getting better. I don't want to sit still. I don't want to just be the best version of me and today's it. This is where I'm going to top out. I want to get better tomorrow and the day after. And I think that's why coaching was appealing, was there was always an opportunity to get better. Always. So I enjoyed that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I got a little thing for you. This is a sports entertainment podcast, and it's also about real estate and whatnot, right? So, what I love about you, first of all, it's also entrepreneurship, right? Because if you know me, that's like my whole favorite thing in the world, right? So you're, when we think of you in most terms, we think of sports, right?
Sure.
Because you played, you coached, and you made a really great career of that. However, you are involved in the entertainment side of things, right? Because you do something that's really interesting when it comes to live events and shows. And I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So back during COVID, I had a really cool opportunity to partner with a guy I went to college with at Alabama. He was a collegiate golfer at the University of Alabama. His name is Dr. Corey Gibbs. And Corey's been in the ticketing world since I think he was a scalper when we were in college. He was the guy you went to if you needed tickets. And he got into the ticketing world as a profession and has carved out quite a name for himself. And he went off to Wharton Business School and got his PhD in writing a proprietary analytics suite of the predictive nature of tickets. So he founded a company that is a concierge-based ticketing company. So we help people. If it's got a ticket and an expiration date, I can get it. And we only work with a handful of clients. We do anything from, like you guys are talking about, we'll do the Grammys, the Emmys, we do, the Masters, the Derby, Super Bowl, Final Four, and then we do concerts all over the world. So
are you telling me if I have the right dollar papers, because I'm assuming this is not a cheap experience, but
it depends. It's not cheap.
It's called, Elite Entertainment Experiences with an S on the end.com. If instead of me going to Ticketmaster and having to go, I hope I can get, the fourth row back seats 11 through 12 together. Can I just come on here and go, I want to do something super cool and you guys can hook me up?
Yeah, if you're a member or, you're connected to either Corey or I directly, all you've got to do is send me a message, give me the date of the event. We're going to make sure that all your sight lines are good. We're going to give you all the options, and we're not going to have that 38% markup that you would find on a third-party site.
Can we just really quickly go back? Can you just say again what Corey got a PhD? Could you just say that whole sentence again? Because I was like,
yeah. So Corey is
he just throws doctor around like it's like I'm going to urgent care down the street. We got one of those. So I got to go see the doctor.
This is my guy. Now, this is my guy. If you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, that's how his mind works. I mean, it's fascinating. But he got his PhD and wrote a proprietary analytics suite based on the predictive nature of tickets. So he can read the ticket market like the stock market and tell you the day that the ticket's going to cost you the most and the day that the ticket's going to cost you the least based on all these different data points that he's drawn into his analytics, everything from traffic patterns to populations to if it's an athletic event, from the fan base of the team, the won-loss record of the people that are competing, the concert venues. We can do a little bit of everything. I think it's 140, 150 different points of data that are all pulled in. And he's usually within about $4.
And I don't want to, I'm not sure, I don't want to give away the farm on this to people.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, we want him to come in here. But so is that kind of, and I met Corey, right? We had a Zoom with him, us four. It's been a long time ago. That was a long time ago. You know what I mean?
It was 3 years ago when I first came in. Yeah. 3 years ago.
I mean, we're into year 3.3 right now. It's wild to me. We have, going into our fourth year here. But so you guys, so he uses this data and this model that he wrote to figure out how to acquire these at the best rates for people. Is that kind of the process?
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. So I pretty much on a daily basis, I'll send him a message, be like, CG, hey, I'll give you an example. We did Taylor Swift tickets in Portugal. I said, hey, CG, 2 for Taylor Swift in Portugal. Don't want to go over X amount. What are the best seats available? What's the best day to buy? He plugs it in, sends it back. I send it to the client. They decide. Bing, bang, boom. Done.
So let me throw this out there. I know this is a public facing event, right? Or I mean, site, right? Anybody can become a member. Really?
Well, you go through a vetting process. There's an interview. So we work with some companies, some large companies that do things like the U.S. Open or the Masters as either client appreciation or employee appreciation or as a perk. And then we have some individual clients that are, higher end that do things, they want us to help set up dining.
So yeah, I guess where I'm going with this is like again, a lot of our folks that are on here, we get all kinds of listenership on this program, but a lot of them are going to be real estate agents, but this might and maybe some higher net worth people as well that are listening.
Yeah.
This might be a great add-on for them for their clientele. So not rather than send their clients here, it would probably be great for them to go to your site, connect with you, and go, hey, I want to be able to offer unique elite experiences for my clients.
Yep.
And they could connect with you. And then they get to kind of be the hero in the mix.
Right.
By finding you, and then they get the goods and then can deliver them. This totally circles so much back to where we started with Brittney, in that she is a giver and she loves to see other people succeed. She's being a point guard in this ticket industry right here, and then bringing those services on home to make other people look good. I just think that's so cool that you can take something and be authentic to who you are and what your past is, and then continually keep delivering to other people at such a high level on something that like this to enhance their business and their experiences and the people that they work with. That's remarkable.
Brittney, we're getting to a point here where we're gonna be wrapping up because it's the end of our show, and I know you've got some things you need to do as well, but just to kind of finalize on that, what's the process? So like the two things I'd like you to kind of wrap up with us on this, because I think this is really great. And I think it is add value to a lot of people. One is, what's the process? So explain, like, if I'm a agent in a group, or I'm just whoever, and I want to utilize experience, like, what do I do? Do I get a membership? Do I just, and then second of all, like, who's it ideal for, and how, and how can they leverage it?
Yeah. Well, I would think it would be ideal, kind of like Paul laid out, for anybody that wants to provide a level of white glove experience, kind of like we try to provide with KWSE. We want to be white glove when it comes to all real estate experience. Same thing for us with E3. If someone's a member of KWSE and they're interested in this, they can reach out to me directly. They don't have to go through the website. Totally fine. If someone's not in KWSE, they can go on there, fill out the information sheet, and they'll hear back from me directly or Corey directly. But it's great. Like if Paul wanted to do it, and let's say you wanted to give concert tickets as a closing gift, how cool is that? Or if you've got a client that's really into golf and you said, hey, Britt, can you set them up at a house in for the Masters in Augusta and let them meet Justin Thomas, or can you help me procure some of those things? Yeah, we can do that. The only thing we don't do is travel. All right, so don't book, don't send me anything.
We're not booking travel through you.
Not booking travel.
I got a guy. I got a travel.
I got a guy.
But, we could do this as a giveaway too at some point, Jason. Not only could people do it as a giveaway through, for their clients and stuff like that, to build interest in it, provide something like that. But who knows? We may see a giveaway on the Sellout crowd with an elite experience at some point down the road. I'm just saying.
Just let me know.
So Brittney, in general, they, like, most of the time somebody should go to the website and then fill out like an application, so to speak, for membership, and then you guys approve whatever that person, and then they have the ability to contact you to get those, to learn about what they should be doing, that kind of a process.
It's the funny part is, I always tell people, I was like, there's got to be a velvet rope at some point. And so we do cut it off at a certain number, because I don't want to dilute the level of service that we're providing to the people that, are members. And so we're really particular about it. It's important that we keep it small and curated so that we can give you the kind of service that you expect, that your clients expect. And most importantly, we want to work with people that we like. People do business with people that they like. bottom line.
100%.
And
Every one of us there's somebody out there that does all the things I do, all the things you do, all the things that Paul does. But why are the people that we have in our lives around us? Because they like us.
Yep, I hope so.
And I think that, it's experts, elite entertainment. That's clearly what the E3 is.
Yeah.
And for your members, you've got it on here, highly exclusive entertainment. So if you are looking, don't just go here and expect to get tickets for the game next week for a couple of your buddies. It's not that sort of thing. I want to be real clear about that.
No,
but
it
if
is
you're
not.
looking for a highly exclusive entertainment experience, like you mentioned, not everyone's going to be in the market for Taylor Swift tickets overseas, but if you've got that person, then you may be a good candidate for what they've got going on here for that sort of thing. So vet yourself a little bit before you just go on down the line and get vetted and get disappointed. And once you figure out that you are exclusive with what your ask is, there's a good chance that E3 can help you out. And then, of course, for any of your other needs, y'all go see BrittneyEzell.com. She's going to be your keynote speaker. She's going to help you with your real estate. She's going to help coach your career to the next level, regardless of what you're doing, or if you haven't even started and you're an entrepreneur listening to this show and trying to figure out what do I do next. She's going to help you out with that. Brittney, we tell people it's called the sellout crowd, not because we're sellouts, but because we have a crowd of people that that listen to what we say and the guests that we bring on, and because we talk to people who are selling out crowds, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to connect them in those pieces and ways to do that. And I can't think of a better someone to coach you to get to selling out whatever your crowd is at whatever level you are that you're listening to than the Dr. Brittney Ezell.
Yeah, the only way you make it a sellout, folks, is put a product on the floor that people want to see, and put a product on the stage that people are dying to see. That's what people don't get when we deal with fans. Fan is short for fanatic, and sometimes they just don't understand. We're praying to their emotion, much like what you do in the music world, Jason and Paul. I have such admiration for that. You guys are putting people's heartfelt feelings to a melody, and I admire that so greatly. And so all I'm trying to do is give them access to people that are speaking to their heart. That's it.
Boom. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on, Brittney.
Yeah.
And we'll have you on again soon. It's like the Tonight Show. You can't just come once. You got to come back a few times and have some fun with us. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much. And just hang out in our little digital green room here for a couple minutes, and we'll get right to you. Jason, man, what fun we had.
Dude, I tell you what,
Doc.
I'll tell you what, doing this podcast just always constantly reminds me of, like, I've worked a long time and been in business a long time. And it's amazing to think about, the people that you surround yourself by. When we're younger, it's about like, hey, my buddy's fun and it's cool. But it's like, that person doesn't necessarily help you develop or grow in your life. And, for the people that we've talked to over our last several and the people we've got coming up, it's like, it gives me a moment of gratitude where I sit back and look and go, yeah, I'm thankful that I'm in a spot where, like, a person like Brittney Ezell is, thinks highly of me and what I've done, when she doesn't realize, like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm blessed to, like, have a person like that in my life.
Some really cool, successful people
100%,
that, just ups my, I'm like, how am I even in this room sometimes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. And you've got someone like her to make you feel that way, brighten your day, and give you nuggets to get better all at the same time. Like, I want to go play basketball now, and I'm not really very good, but I'll do it.
Well, listen, thank you to everybody for joining us once again. Great show again, great episode, great nuggets. Check out everything that we talked about with Britt, and we'll see you on the next one. We got some great stuff coming up. So
coming up, like, share, subscribe, do all the things, tell people about it, so we can bring more value all the way. Here we go. Let's get out of here. Getting out of here.